विशाला तेरा झगड़ा हो गया बहुत
शिवम का इंटर है वो बोलेगा क्या ये भाई बोलना Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. Very good morning, sir. Sir, why are your formal different? Yes, because that bottom is not. And your leather shoes पहन के आता हूँ ना. I stand long. Get short. Thank you, my dear boy is noting each and every part of it. I told you. Guys, क्या हो गया? Hey, you are normal after the 2 geographic lectures. So guys, I was social distancing. Social distancing is absolutely necessary. You asked me the same question. I am also trying. What is the thing? You maintain silence. I won't torture you. Correct? 1. No writing work minimum. Second, you have to only understand. उसके लिए भी दिमाग है या वो भी बारे पे दिया गया? ये तीनों एक साथ है. You come forward. Just call forward. अरे तू इधर आ. First bench में. All the three. Hey, listen. I'm not going to separate them both sides. All the 3 come forward. Bhumika, no, you are. You come here, or you want to sit alone? Then come here. तू किधर बैठ लेके निकला? तू इधर आ. ये लड़कियां क्यों ऐसा बाइफरकेट एक साइड बैठती करना? You push here in the zone. Here, ये है ना thing. Social distancing अभी allowed नहीं है. Now it is a punishable offence under Maharashtra Organized Control Act. There is an act called Makoka. You know what is Makoka? Maharashtra Control Organized Crime Act of 1986-87. It is replaced by TADA. I don't know. TADA is Terrorist Disruptive Acts Act. अभी तो उसका बहुत फर्क है. हाँ, very good. आप ही आते हैं सामने. जल्दी करो जो भी कर. एक अभी बाहर कराएगा, कराएगा. Tell me what I was doing last class.
Sir, immediate was khatam.
Yeah. Only immediate was it?
Yes.
इसके पहले ना.
Sir, इसके पहले you now, sir.
Today we will go a little bit RAM speed. RAM का थोड़ा I want to push up. A very.
She was not.
तुमने ऐसे इसको पट्टी पर आया. Sorry. भैया जी क्या है आपकी? Are you the pillar of beauty? One pillar is organized. इधर आना इधर. Everyone pick up your volume quick. क्या I didn't get my volume. I think वो अच्छा बोल गया. तू इधर आना volume लेके. Since where is that person? Bhumika. She placed herself there. You come here with your volume. Give me one volume. Dekho, this entire month or few weeks, you have to come early morning. वो तो मालूम है. And bring your brush, towels, whatever it is. Because some student used to tell me earlier before COVID, sir मैंने brush भी नहीं किया. मैंने बोला जरा दूर बैठ. Freshness बहुत है. So it's okay. We are in page number this. Everyone with me? यार इतना भी आने तो दे. Page number is 2 and 3. Now I'm not going to shout. You have to keep quiet. Come here quick. You only. How many were absent in my last regular class? You. And did you cover up? I didn't understand. So what? After the before the second lecture begins, I need all the notes. You take her whatever you want to do. Yeah, I'm just explaining the political process. If you feel that I'm uttering the points which are not there in the volume, please make a note. I'm not going to ask you to write. Correct? Maybe fourth lecture I'll see what is your strength, then we will make you write. Okay. Now I want this policy of expansion by 2 battles. The first battle was Plassey and second was Buxar. You want me to tell the whole story behind these 2 battles?
Yes, sir.
That is for your not in the 10th standard. Achha.
Interesting, yes.
Interesting, they want me to shout. Yeah, listen now. Now no more mouth will chatter except mine. Then 1764. I say this is BOP or Battle of Plassey and this is Battle of Buxar. How do I explain these 2 battles in a very simple manner? The ruler of this province was Bengal Nawab and his name was Sirajuddin Dowla. Let me write his name, try to check my spellings. Oh my God, I have to go that side. Jump from one conclusion. So it was the most prominent province of India, 3 states together, Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. Those days Orissa, now it is Odisha. Then we have Odessa also, that is in Ukraine. Now what has happened? The Britishers have come down to him and asked for the trading rights. You understand trading? Prominent province. Initially, Sirajuddin Dowla was not of the view. Then he gave. When the Britishers started trading, they understood that it is very rich, very prosperous. And once they not only got the trading rights, let us slowly eat the entire cake by piece. You understand piece by piece? So now they started dreaming. Who? The British. To capture the entire province. But then he was a very strong ruler. Not easy for the British. Then they could find a person who call him, we call him as Mir Jafar. He was the commander-in-general to Sirajuddin Dowla. And as like every commander, even he had the dream of becoming a Nawab. And it is the best person to be helping British. So Britishers might have lured him to help us to win the battle against this leader. And we'll make you the Nawab. So the entire battle was fierce. But one fine day, or whichever the day it was, Mir Jafar opened the main gates to the British army. Traitor. You know who is a traitor? Know any traitor in your life?
Yes.
Who? Who's that person strongly saying yes? Don't tell any teacher's name by the way. So traitor means a person in Hindi we call as namak haram. Correct? वो word बोलने में नमक उसके आगे का समझ. So then, as he promised, the Nawab was defeated. Britishers took the control. Mir Jafar was the pomp and luxury Nawab. Few years he enjoyed, but you know British they started pinning him also. And Nawab है वो, he didn't like. Who are you to interfere? So British ने बोला हम लोग ने तुझे बिठाया उधर. Correct? Then they started plotting against him also. Then luckily they got one more person. His name was Mir Kazim. Now, who is this fellow? He is a direct relative of this person only. He was the son-in-law. शायद बेटी को दहेज में कम दिया लगता है. Son-in-law of this Mir Jafar. He also did the same thing with Mir Jafar. And Mir Jafar was deposed and Mir Kazim. Then the second battle, what they have fought was with the Mir Kazim, that was Battle of Buxar. So Mir Kazim was quite a able leader, quite a energetic, but he doesn't want the British influence in their kingdom at all. The Britishers thought this is the last time Mir, khatam ho gaya Mir, do Mir aa gaya. So that a final battle was this Buxar, and finally he was deposed, and then entire Bengal came in the hands of British. Very rich province, too high revenue. That money they started using to Chalo Delhi. You know what is Chalo Delhi slogan? Then they started dreaming the entire country in their hands. And they did achieve it, all thanks to the two battles. So these two battles are called as foundation stone of British Empire in India. Okay, itna detail mein textbook bhi nahi diya, volume bhi nahi diya. And why do you want me to shout all this? At least will you retain it in your brain?
Yes, sir.
Only for the next 5 minutes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Then the next one, policy of expansion, if I say, they started using two things. One was the subsidiary alliance. Other was doctrine of alliance. Subsidiary alliance was by Wellesley. Doctrine of alliance. Pull it up. That light is entering. मैडम आप इधर बैठे ना अरे क्या रिलैक्स हो जाना यू डू दिस आई नो हाउ स्वीट ही है ऐसा करना क्यों गुस्सा उसमें दिखाना तेरे इतना प्यार से because these curtains might have washed for ages all the dust will be on your face और क्या तू जाइए वॉशर में So when I say the word policy of expansion, here was the battle. Now Britishers coined some new things. Without battle also they can annex the kingdom. Subsidiary alliance, Lord Wellesley made many kingdoms to sign the agreement. You are my subsidiary. So why? Is to भरा है पूरा. है ना? तो क्या होगा? और भी भरने पड़े. So when the king asked, why should I take your protection? He said, you are weak. Your army is not capable. If your neighbor enemy attacks you, how will you protect yourself? Then the king might ask, how? Take my army. So who will pay the money? I will pay my army. You don't worry. Imagine a close friend of yours is putting his personal bodyguards into your house. Do you need that personal bodyguard? Along with the army, they kept one person as a minister. And he will be sitting with the minister of the king. The king had an objection. Why this fellow? He said he is going to help you. Administration. In other branch I was explaining, तो एक लड़का बोला, सर उसको हिंदी नहीं आता, इंग्लिश नहीं आता रहेगा, सर कैसे वो समझता है? बोला इंटरप्रेटर रखा रहेगा, चुपचाप बैठ के. So he is the person who is not going to help. He was a person appointed as an official spy for the British administration. He will restrict the king not to have any agreement with the neighboring king. मतलब वो plot तो नहीं कर रहा British के खिलाफ. Are you understanding? Yes. So this was done very beautifully by Lord Wellesley. So many kingdom was annexed under subsidiary alliance. Some people ask me, अगर मैं sign नहीं करेगा, अगर alliance को accept नहीं करेगा, direct war with that British. What does it mean? If you don't sign this agreement, you have to face war with it. So you remember how many kings might have had the courage. Second was doctrine of lapse. Lord Dalhousie. They got Dalhousie. I don't know what does this name stand for. Dalhousie. He said if an Indian king does not have a son of his own, a natural heir, he cannot adopt the son. I mean, what is this? They said yes, as long as you are alive, you enjoy. After you demise or perish, this Sahir Gani is it? Who is he? She. Sorry. You haven't signed for the last lecture, is it? इस दो लेक्चर के लिए मैं साइन करने नहीं देता हूँ. ये ना ये बच्चा ना. अच्छा इधर इधर विशाल इज हु साइन कर भाई मेरे सामने बैठे और साइन गुड गुड व्हाट आई वाज एक्सप्लेनिंग Dalhousie. So there were kings like Peshwa, Bajirao. ठीक है भैया So we try to explain the Dalhousie's policy as very simple. Here also they had annexation policy, but with a different excuse. So we have that Rani Lakshmi Bai. After the death of the husband, they have already adopted a son, but the British government failed to recognize. Not failed, they don't want. And that lady, you might have heard many Hindi and songs with us. She fought till her death, having that son also along with her, but ultimately she perished. Then we have Bajirao, Balaji Bajirao, and then Nana Peshwa. So there were many kingdoms who tried to rise against this policy, but they were removed. So finally, that is doctrine of lapse. So with these policies, they expanded their political kingdom much bigger than what it was in 1757. Is it okay?
Yes.
Only silently read the entire heading and ask me if you have any query. Policy of expansion, outright war, subsidiary alliance, doctrine of lapse. और ये बहादुर शाह और मिसरूल में अभी एक्सप्लेन कर देता हूँ किसका था बोलूं any word any point you are most welcome. So shall I say to the department that we have completed one chapter from
Yes, sir. The next
Union Parliament? Already it is announced.
Yes, sir.
So be ready for your Union Parliament. Simple chapter. So most probably I think maybe today I try to finish off, not finish off, try to push the portion for this chapter. 3/4 खत्म करने का मेरा dream है. Let's see how we dream. क्यों आप लोग भी dream करने का मैं भी कर सकता हूँ. That first batch was already in a daydream zone. I awaited. Guys, come on, read. What was this? The snake's class and इधर है इधर किधर है मेरे पास नहीं है girls now I promise to myself hey boys में any people absent they will getting into the family planning of the did not tell the British ऐसा नहीं बताएगा he is a king इधर अभी मेरा घर में मैंने एक छोटा मिक्सर क्या लाया पूरा बिल्डिंग पे स्विच he is a king वो भी बच्चा उठा के लाया और पूरा king चुप गए अरे the kings the British had spies and the enemy of the king is the best spy to the British वो क्या है ना मारा जाना कल एक बच्चे को and Indians are the good people to kill each other only. In those days, that's what happening. Why those days? Even today also. And in our own building, how beautiful are the neighbors? Best. हम लोग भी वैसे ही है. हम लोग भी उसको blame करते. We are also like that only, ना? नहीं करते? मैं तो करता नहीं. सुबह लॉक करेगा, शाम को जाके दरवाजा बंद करके अंदर चले जाते. Shami, quick. कौन था? It's okay.
So yeah, it is written agreed to maintain British
How seriously she is reading. That's understandable.
at their own cost.
मैंने बोला British will be paying the money. No need the Indian king pay the money. So Indian king is ready. Indirectly उनको मालूम है government तो मेरे हाथ में अंदर. I said that only. The Britishers will pay the money for the army. Indian king. अगर मैं आपको बोलूँ मैं security दे रहा हूँ, you are very हाँ सर करते हो. उसका पैसा तुम लो, मैं नहीं चाहिए. I am giving the money. Oh, very good sir. मेरे बहन के लिए भी चाहिए सर. वो भी मेरे अलग चाहिए. So the British king were promised by the British that we will pay the current the salaries of the entire army. You don't pay. The kings were very ready. Okay, very good. क्या हो गया? Tension है? Now the king looked over my face. I will say in some philosophical English language. Might be a girl, I could have uttered some lines. You are a boy, sir. अरे ऐसा करता रहेगा तो suddenly ऐसा तो कर. Okay. So you are ready. You say okay and yes, so that I proceed. I won't say okay.
So the second point, according to this doctrine, has adopted without the consent of the company to inherit only private property.
हाँ, मतलब जो किंग का जो है वो प्रॉपर्टी नहीं जाएगा उस बच्चे की. अगर तूने साइड में कहां से तो ब्राइब लेके कमा के रखा तो हो जाएगा. Kingship and kingdom will not pass. Shall we?
Yes.
Did you use the textbook of the court? How many points did you seriously tell me the false lie?
What's to false lie?
I'm asking you, why are you pointing? How many points did you get? Tell me. I believe on that. Hey, listen. हाँ. लिखा है तो पढ़ो.
The Indian rulers who agreed to subsidiary alliance agreed to maintain British rule. So it was the Indian rulers who.
नहीं, I am offering two opportunities. The first and second is the same. I said you are Indian kings. I am giving my army. पहला क्वेश्चन आप पूछेगा आर्मी का कैसा कौन देगा? I said me. I said ready go. That is what. Why are you making into the skins of the kingships? Okay, let's get into that alleged misrule and Bahadur Shah. I mean, there are kingdoms they mentioned. Awadh hai, Awadhi hai. So they will get into one kingdom, analyze a big business report. You want a business report? अभी हम लोग कंपनी के लिए मैं ऐसे करता हूँ, छोटा कंपनी के साथ अलाइन. So what is that company will say? The entire kingdom they will study and they will make a big report. This was a kingdom. So many years taxes are not coming to you. So many people do not respect you as a Maharaja. So many kingdoms are, thwarting you. And they'll catch all the negative points. And if you want to hit a friend mentally or through intellectual point, take all the drawbacks of the friend. फिर उसको बोलते जाओ तू ऐसा है तू ऐसा है तू ये है तू वो है. ऐसे बोले नहीं हम तो काम करके दे रहा हूँ. नहीं और भी रुक जा अभी मैं बताऊँ तेरे बारे में. If you want to get the work done, फिर उसका प्रेजेस ही करने का. You are the most handsome, you are this one, you are this one. Very good, very good. फिर क्या काम करने का? वो कुछ सामने से पूछेगा. नहीं रुक जा और भी तारीफ है बाकी है बहुत लिखा है. नहीं मैं कर रहा हूँ. नहीं रुक जा तू सुन. So what the Britishers have done, they got all the drawbacks of the kingdom. Alleged misrule. What is misrule? You are unable to cope up. You are unable to rule. अभी अगर मैं इतना drawbacks बोल दिया, the king become little bit, cautious. What shall I do? We are there today. What is that? Give the kingdom to him. And what he or she will get? A fixed pension. अभी आपका जो company start किया, it is going in losses. I'm saying give the company to me for next 15 years. क्यों? I'm giving you per annum this much rupees. Very good. I was searching like fool like you only. Means what? For your company, without working, I'm giving you monthly or yearly. You are happy. But with that loss company, what I'm going to do? Did you ask me? You didn't ask. I might have identified something in that. इसलिए तो मैं आपका loss company को मैं अपने हाथ में ले रहा हूँ. अगर मैं आपको 10 लाख दे रहा हूँ, I might have earned 100 lakhs from there. ये Indian king का mind में ट्यूबलाइट नहीं चला. So that is the meaning of the word alleged misrule. It might be in reality also. It might be some like fake also. But these are the excuse how did they expanded their kingdom. Next is Bahadur Shah. In fact, even after Aurangzeb, Bahadur Shah was not an able leader, not a powerful leader. But then Britishers have somehow swallowed him as a leader. But as soon as he died, his descendants were not at all given any access. Forget about the access to the throne. Even the pensions, nothing was given. So that royal family were in anger with whom? The British. And they joined the revolt just because of this reason. Is it okay?
Yes.
Then the next one. Okay, next lecture में मैं सब points का दो line दूंगा, so that at least you have some ready answer in your hand. इतना बड़ा exam में मत लिखो. आप वैसे भी नहीं लिखने वाले. Treatment given to Nana Sahib and Rani Lakshmi. This girl told me she read it. Come on, tell me. Nana Sahib बोला था ना आपने? चलो, tell me what it is. Few lines. First of all, you curve, turn, twist, open, करो. What body language you are speaking to the teacher? Stand up first. And don't twist and turn. Straight color. Good. Okay. Allegation. अरे तो नाम तो बोलो। अरे रुको रुको बोल रही। हाँ? नाना साहेब। ठीक है, accept. I don't have the ration card in mind. ठीक है, बाजीराव। एक इधर पेशवा। Okay, you sit down. The next person, at least she will be saying it in a better manner. Wait.
Nana Sahib was the adopted son of Bajirao II, the last Peshwa. So after Bajirao,
there were two Bajiravs. Bajirao is second. Two बोले तो water time two is second. I can handle one. Forget about two. वो और एक कुछ सोच कैसे? बाजीराव बोलिए. ठीक है. ये क्या है लड़कियों को इतना आगे कैसे समझदारी? चलिए let us भूमिका है सर. मैं इसका नाम लर्न कर लिया. She comes in my economics lecture. That's a good thing and he is also. याद है आपका नाम ध्वनि and इसका नाम साउंड. सर जो भी अच्छा नहीं याद आएगा नेक्स्ट संतोष नहीं मेरे सेंस में बिग बिजनेस संतोष अच्छा जो भी है हाँ मोरे किसी बोला जी remembers me good regarding that Bajirao and Nana Sahib and Lakshmi Bai guys get serious we are working on a serious topic okay you never remove the mask थोड़ा सा निकलो आज ये लड़की कम ठीक है now again
was not recognized as the next king and
hey she saying not recognized any reason
because you are adopted.
आपको कैसे मालूम है अच्छा लिखा है good go ahead okay I'll take over this person हाँ तू नहीं है मेरा स्टूडेंट क्या मिल्क माइटी क्या नाइटी हाँ somebody okay let me just summarize what you guys have told this girl that girl and this boy वो बोला ही नहीं ठीक है what is this treatment I always feel my even the students if the teacher doesn't give them a little bit respect बाहर देखो है ना फीस पूरा भरा है पूरा भी respect नहीं दे सकता gone are the days when something should respect comes from them so now these are peshwas these are kings monarch for ages they have been in the royal family suddenly the British administration entering and giving all kinds of troubles to them although now they are deposed you know what is deposed removed but their descendants are having a grudge over whom the British so they will join the which revolt next is that word absentee sovereignty of the British I want somebody to tell you maybe Atharva na I took the name chalo absentee
sir absentee sovereignty of British which means that like all the Indian people and citizens during that time had
you opened up very finely like Sachin Tendulkar
sir they had they saw the ruler face to face and then they had happy to give their problems face to face but they were unable and that the revenue taken from them the revenue taken from the Indians were used for the British government which was passed by the in England and
पूरा पढ़ के आया good boy let him
absentee sovereignty refers to like a rule absent rule so
correct
so the ruler
tell me the meaning about sovereignty first I don't know
sovereignty is like the ruling
अच्छा ठीक है you continue your flow I will discuss it
so absentee sovereignty refers to like absent ruling. So the British were not ruling India through from within the country, but all the ruling was coming from.
Finally, what is your bottom line to say?
It's that India was being ruled not by its own people, but by.
Okay, very good. Now the laughing stops. Come, tell me. No, kya? Haan, kya? Everyone is answering. Why? Even this girl answered today. What are your behavior? Tell me. Get up, quick. Haan. It's so easy to smile or laugh at other person, man. No, I didn't see that you laugh. Tell me. Okay, sit down. Haan. It's so simple to tell you guys. The word is sovereignty. I say India is ruled by Britain. Is it sovereignty? India should be ruled by Indians. London is ruled by British people. It's okay. So here British did not see any sovereignty. They wanted to become the which ruler of India? De facto ruler. What is de facto? Unchallenged. De jure. I think that's the word, isn't it? But any time did they had this word sovereignty, they said it's okay. You people are hunger people, slaves, poor, don't know administration, and I'm giving you the training. So that's what the British is in their mind. So due to which they controlled or continue to rule India. Is all the points clear? Check any of the point you want to explain again. Any. So shall we put only the heading in your notebook? Come on, take out the notebook. Because I know it will evaporate within no seconds from your brain. You don't write at least the heading. Did you write all the headings earlier? No. So you write causes of the revolt. That is right. I made you to write. I remember. Uske niche because a B point then. You write B. Political causes. So I will help you to make your own answer. When you write that B political causes, write the first point. Policy of expansion. And if you think that entire paragraph, I can only write 2 lines, you write. Understood what I'm saying? Policy of expansion, write 2 lines only. And wherever you have a problem in shortening the para, you can ask me. So I'm also writing along with you guys. And make every lecture count, whatever is the lecture. These days we will finish up a little bit good portion. So we are into A, political causes. What does that mean? Policy of expansion, is it? Don't spend more than 2 or 3 minutes, maximum 5 minutes. There must be one more. No.
I have ideas.
In my lecture. Right. Yeah, I'm just coming not close to you, little bit away from you. Anybody need any help? Please call me. Oh, good. Then go to second point. What is our policy of expansion? Outline words. And you can write 1757 and 64. Don't write explain full detail. Write only the few lines. Don't put all that Dawla, Drama, Kazim, Jafar. So will you write the notes and show it to me? Before the second lecture begins. What are yeah. When I enter 15 minutes, they say yeah. What does this English yeah? I don't understand. Because I am also writing with you, only the heading. Anyway, I am not going to write the test. Hey, the last boy, tell me, boy, understanding, writing. Pacha, tell me your name. Vinesh. V.I. In other schools of my life. Later. So happy. Why are you learning the news?
Sir, no, it's a movie. Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi. Red Panda करके आया मैंने भी देखा Red Panda in Hotstar I watched the IPL अच्छा ठीक let us come back to our outright goals Then go to the next point. Look how quickly Atharv is writing. I'm impressed by that. Hey, last class, in fact, first lecture of early morning, they have a chapter called Politics Man, Civics Man, what is that? Power sharing. And I was teaching about the Sri Lanka and Belgium. The boy, without me asking, made a beautiful sketch, and he cut and pasted that country with all the details. In fact, I second lecture my break में I asked my helper, कौन है वो bodybuilder, office वाला, to get a chocolate and gave in front of my batch because early morning he has impressed me with his writing and his drawing work. Hope this batch also does something like that. Oh Nana, and it is not the money and the chocolate. It's something like. Hope you understand. Emotions to samjha karo. Without me saying, you have to bring me some writing work like that. It will go with that. I laughed at that. Early morning, word is so bad. You can buy the lace also. एक दो बार मुझे याद है सिग्नल में खड़े होकर मैंने लेस बांधा है और बाकी का तो सिग्नल में पब्लिक देखते लगता है क्या sometimes earlier running to Thana I will be only taking the shirt no buttons inside एक जैकेट पहन ले निकल जाते जाते सब करते जाने का there's a movie also ना someone else हाँ what's that हाँ he drives a car in कार में बैठेगा ट्राउजर पहनेगा लेट हो गया क्या करेगा हाँ something brush also he does yes yes but it's all movie reality में होता नहीं रहेगा right चलो लिखो जल्दी what entire lines you guys are copying don't copy the entire line एक है line का अच्छा 64 है ये where is 70 57 not there in the text below calculate करना बंद करो 1757 also you write down although it is not there in the volume write down 17 I had written that
it's there in the volume
and then फिर ये बच्ची ने नहीं लिखा है 1757 also write down clean that both the has to be cut कल मेरा रबर बैंड दोनों बिल्डर में इकट्ठा था Anybody have finished writing? And then write doctrine of lapse. दो line लिखो. Introduced by Dalhousie, a king without a male hat will be annexed. That is the word you have to write. Will be annexed to the British.
Male or natural?
Male. दोनों एक ही तो है. फिर क्या artificial क्या incubator में भी थोड़ी लाएगा. जो भी है छोड़ वो अपना ऊपर का. Not at least your age. So good, my batch is seriously writing. Good one. So you want to start the second one?
No, sir, first.
Complete.
Now interesting chapters in history. Yes. So the first break is at 12 or 12:30. Right, finish up all the courses. 12:30. Yeah, since our washroom facilities are limited, in between only if you want, you can use the recreational facility. And now the batches are less and numbers are less. Earlier we remembered this entire classroom, I remember after the last week. Both the rows, boys and girls. Imagine the pressure on the single window scheme. Last question, did you write? So what's your name? Questionary. Which school questionary we have? And international. Sanpada?
So,
Yes.
explaining the subsidiary alliance, we said that the British, like lured the rulers by saying that they would pay for their expenses, like for the ruler expenses.
और ये दोनों लड़कियां भी उतना ही मुझे डाउट में मारते हैं. एक मिनट, you read the sentence for me. अभी वो clear है. You remove that mask holder.
Sir, in the text we clearly
Agreed, taking British troops at their own cost.
हाँ, मतलब British is sending an army, and British is saying we will pay for the army, the cost.
Sir, it's that kingdom would pay for the army. The kingdom would pay for the army.
मैंने दो लेक्चर में ऐसे ही बोला, but one of the students तो नहीं sir, वो British बोला ना, ठीक है sir, मैंने like once he told me I changed the year only, then sir बाद में घर पे जाकर सुना. अच्छा ठीक है, I'll read the lines from myself. Where is the lines?
Under this.
पूरा रामायण का ये I'm reading for you. Agreed to maintain British troops. अच्छा उसका पहला पॉइंट पढ़ना पड़ेगा. Accepted a British resident under some Indian states were brought under the British control company without actually annexing them. This was done following. अच्छा you are correct. You guys are correct. The army will be paid by the king. Correct. Because I am giving you protection for that, is it? So because your enemy is very powerful, and you know 110% that enemy will defeat you. At least you are getting a troops to
Giving
protect
some of
yourself.
their troops.
The reason like that. If they say Ukraine is less powerful than Russia, Ukraine is at least fighting on its own. If at all the army of America or everything comes, Ukraine has to pay for it. Something like that. Okay. Anybody have completed? Done? Let us take a small writing break of Matkan. You relax now. I'll start explaining the second point. Will do? So that इतना चेहरा सब ऐसा हो गया, colorless हो गया. Now let us go to the next heading. ये कंटिन्यू करेंगे after some few minutes. Here I am explaining that word socio-religious causes. When I use the word socio-religious causes, the first point, they get interference with the customs. Now, if I tell you Rajaram Mohan Roy banned sati, is it right or is it wrong?
Right.
Everyone?
Yes.
Either it is absolutely wrong.
It was against.
Who banned it then? It was Lord William Bentinck. आप बोलेगा हाँ उसका नाम है ऐसे ये that is my pronunciation problem. It was Rajaram Mohan Roy's own sister was a victim of this problem, sir. So like many other social reformer, he was also against it. But when his own sister died, then he was very much against it. Understood?
Yes.
So he influenced the British government, and whoever was the Governor General that time, he only banned it. Okay. Then these widows who are having a pathetic life, government passed an act called widow remarriage. Then banning the parda system, etc., etc. So although it is initially good for the Indian woman or Indian community or Indian society, but those days Orthodox people believe that it is against our religion. It is against our customs. So they did not like the customs brought by the British administration. Next, they are saying policy of racial discrimination. It's so simple to tell you. This racial discrimination means British call themselves a higher race community and we Indians are just vermins. Just some insects or rodents or anything. In fact, many Hindi movies or some Malayalam or some South Indian movies have shown how the Britishers made Indian people lick their shoes also through the tongue. Shoes clean karna rakha. Andaman Nicobar, anytime you go, that's cellular jail. The cruelsome punishment given by the British. They knew that in the military, the people should not going across the sea to fight the war. जब ये ब्रिटिश को मालूम पड़ा purposely send Indian troops fight against crossing the seas. In those days, it was considered irreligious. Correct? So that is the point they are saying. Racial discrimination was so high, each and every Indian was fed up with the administration. Next, if I want to say missionaries, ये थोड़ा सा detail में करता हूँ, don't mind if anybody is that Christian or it's general what the Britishers have done, not the present. We call them as CMCs. What are CMCs? Christian Missionary Commissions. What they do, every power which is under the British, एक पूरा group आएगा. They will not only come and settle here, they will try to give you education first. Free education. Cheap education, and that also from London. People will run away from the Indian school and go into the CMCs. Correct? But slowly and steadily, they are removing the Hinduism and putting the Christian thoughts in their mind. Abhi ek garib bacha, in front of him or her, nothing is there to eat. But she or he closes the eyes and start praying a big prayer to the God. Abhi हमारा Indian बच्चा को कभी देखा ये? सर रखने से पहले हाथ पहले लेके खाए. अभी क्या है? गरीबी है, correct? But slowly what this Christian missionaries done, they created a loyal people. You know what I mean by loyal? Those who will support whom? The British. If you are not going to an Indian school, if you are going to a British school, automatically if you are educated from them, you will not fight against British. You will stay away from the revolters. So this is what they were doing. We had a MG Ranade from our own Maharashtra, Mahadev Govindrao Ranade. He passed out an exam for becoming a judge. British government offered him the job also, but he said no. In fact, in Satara, the present Satara, he used to sit outside the British court, take a table, 2 chairs, बोलता है अंदर नहीं जाने का, हम judge है, इधर ही case deal करें. How insulting for the British. But then they had the courage of doing this. So this Christian missionary slowly and steadily, उनका plan ही दिया था, पहला आप उनका गरीबी का ये करो, education mind में डालो, and try to make them the loyals to the British. Correct? Loyals कैसे बनेंगे? If I get my basic education and my higher education from them, मेरा mind में वही चलता रहेगा. Yes, British government, good government. British parliament, good parliament. And we people are their slaves. Slaves नहीं बोलेंगे. We people are their workers, servers. and एक educated middle class बन भी गया था, which was not liked by the reformers and revolutionaries. Okay, and the next one we have the taxing the religious places. ये अभी भी है, अभी तो minimum 10 या 20 rupees ही है. But in those days, if you go to a religious place, either Hindus or Muslims, you have to pay a high tax to the British government. Now, if I ask you why is the tax? Pilgrimage tax. Why do you need to pay? It is my own God, my own place. If I'm crossing India and going, it's okay, you take the tax. But it is within India. No, you must pay. Indirectly, they are discouraging the people, sit at home and don't go to that one. Are you understanding what I'm saying? So this was not very good on the part of British Parliament, and not the British East India Company. Then apprehension about modern innovations. One is the railways. In fact, railways helped the British Parliament more. What was the first railway line? किधर से किधर? थाने से कलवा. It is between Mumbai to Thane, 1853. Why did they start? Mumbai was a textile hub and Thane was a coal field. To bring the coal from Thane to Mumbai, they started. But today, Indian railways are considered to be one of the best, cheap, and too good also with the amount of money that we are paying. But then it was initially started by British, not for Indians, but for them only. Telegraph, I don't know, many few people might have heard about it. Even I haven't seen. My dad used to say telegraph. There will be a small screen in the place where, and one person will be small mouse-like thing. Mouse nahi hai, like just a tap jaisa rahega. He or she will tap it. And whatever the message he or she is tapping, it will be reflected in the screen of the person who is in that destination. So that was telegraph. So telegraph was used by the British for their own advantage. The troops are marching. There is a revolt which is going to take place. Indian revolters will send a person on the horse back. Samjha? Horse ride. Message dene ke liye. By the time he reaches there, telegraph might have sent, troops will be ready, and war might have come to an end also. So these are the advantages British possess. Who did not have it? Indians. And then I say the word fears regarding the Western that are told through that Christian missionaries. I mean, law of property, either be Britishers have interpreted something. Today, the boy and the girl means you have the every legal right of your dad's property. आज भी मैं एक business law करके chapter नहीं है, paper है in CPT. In YouTube we have taken, outside also I take. उसमें पहले रहेगा in according to Hindu undivided family. तुरंत मुस्लिम बच्चा क्यों? आपको भी मिलेगा. Although you are married, although you got children, if your brother is getting dad's property, even the girl should also get your own dad's property. Correct? Kerala was the first state to announce. Today, all over India, slowly every state is accepting that. मैं एक step आगे भी जाता हूँ. There are certain girls, even after the marriage, they keep their maiden name only. The husband cannot force a girl. बेचारा जिस डैड को भी सिर्फ लड़कियां हैं या लड़की है, सर डरो मत सर, आपका जाने के बाद भी आपका बेटी आपके सरनेम से ही जिंदा रहे. है ना? That is that movie ना, आमिर खान's Dangal movie. Have you seen that? Two daughters. So here they are saying, even in that undivided family, they started creating trouble. What all the conditions they put, that your dad's property might not pass to the son due to some reasons, which they did not like it. And then they have the oppression of the poor. What is oppression of the poor? They were oppressed by two communities. One was Zamindar, and other was by the British Parliament. They have to pay double taxes, benefit is zero. Neither the Zamindar took anything for their agricultural reforms, nor the British. There were many famines in India. Bengal famine was most popular. Popular, like what Banerjee is doing, Mrs. Banerjee. Many years, people did not have even water to drink. But then also the taxes were collected from the people. So this was real trouble to the entire, which community? Peasant community. Is there any other point? Okay, now we will wait, and you can either continue that heading or you leave that heading and put this heading. Socio-religious causes. हाँ वो very good चीज़ है ऐसा improvement मैंने एक ही दिन में नहीं सोचा ठीक है good Ash she has written look how beautiful even handwriting is also understandably good अच्छा है बस इसको है ना neatly है ना ये जो heading है ना either by pen or pencil underline it in the exam easy for you to understand come on either continue that or you continue with this because while you are writing in my presence wherever you need my help or you want to cut short that line you can ask me hey, when you are writing subsidiary alliance give one example any states okay you have written good जाइए So while writing, were you listening my explanation? Ritu? Pakka? Good. Oh, she has written such a long treatment to Nana Sahib and Rani Lakshmi. Good at this. So while writing, something is getting into your brain. Name it before the exam you need. So we have finished which causes? Socio-religious causes. Besides your friend, I can help you if you want any points. Feel free to ask me. I'll check some videos available on online for this. You keep writing. Whichever video is suitable, I'll play for you guys. I'm not going to see it. Wait, I'll check with the office people regarding the volume. Go. I have remembered some students narrating it's good habit. The best way to learn the big answers, whoever your friend, your mother, father, make them to sit and explain. It's so easy to learn. Seriously, instead of makka, what is that? And mugging up and all breaking their head. Mock up. Sorry. Easy. And she is doing something. What is that?
She asked to explain this text.
And you explained to her, you understood. Yeah. अच्छे से समझा हाँ नहीं समझा तो कंप्लीट हाँ है Guys, which point you are writing? Please keep writing. Maybe next 2-3 minutes I start. The next question. Are you playing
The rebellion of 1857 was a major but ultimately unsuccessful uprising in India between 1857 and 1858 against the rule of British East India, which functioned as a sovereign power on behalf of the British Crown. The event is linked by many names, including the Sepoy Mutiny, the Indian Mutiny, the Great Rebellion, the revolt of
You can understand this.
the Indian insurrection, and India's first war of independence. Causes of the revolt.
Be quiet because the volume quality is not good.
Lord Dalhousie was the Governor General of India till 1848-1856. Under him, the British followed an expansionist policy in India. Dalhousie, through his policies, had added considerable territories to the British Empire in India. The policy of annexation reached its climax when he implemented the policy of doctrine of lands and annexed the Indian states on charges of misgovernance and absence of an heir. In the course of 8 years, Dalhousie annexed Satara, Sambalpur, Jhansi, Nagpur, Jaipur. This policy leveraged the Indian rulers against the British government. In the course of 8 years, Dalhousie annexed Satara, Sambalpur, Jhansi, Nagpur, Jaipur. This policy encouraged the Indian rulers against the British government as part of the doctrine of land.
Wait, he is a mouse. Hey, you just remember the number of states and the year. If you don't write year, we'll do. Wait, let it go.
Nagpur.
Stop it. So look here. It is Satara, the present part of Satara only. Then we have Sambalpur. Jhansi that somebody has written, that girl, she has written the detail. That is Jhansi, even Nagpur also, Jaipur. If you want, you can note down these without years only. Years nobody is going to ask you. नहीं, कहीं तो add कर लो ना. Satara, Sambalpur, Jhansi, Nagpur. What is that smiley going on? Right from the one. I'm seeing your act very seriously, not so serious. बेचारा इकोनॉमिक्स में बहुत सीरियस बैठा रहता है क्योंकि अकेला है पढ़ा रहता है उससे इधर है तेरा कंपेनियन एंड compatriots. I don't know. He's checking who is that. Everyone keep a note. Year नहीं लिखा चलेगा, but at least ये लिख लो. It is Dalhousie policies or what is that? Dalhousie ने क्या? Doctrine of lapse. Just play it now.
Jaipur. This policy enraged the Indian rulers against the British government. As part of the doctrine of lapse policy, the titles and pensions of some Indian princes were confiscated.
What is the word they are saying? Pensions of the some Indian princes were confiscated. What does it mean?
Took away.
They did not give the pension at all. Means what? Look here. The titles and the pension. What titles they wanted? Like Nawab, Maharaja, Prince or Princess. आप बोलेगा क्या title रखे करेगा क्या? But they are royal blood. Correct? Play on.
The pension of Bajirao II's son Nana Sahib was discontinued after his father's death and Rani of Jhansi had been afraid of her right to rule in violation of the recognized Hindu.
Alright, understand the basic.
Dalhousie further proposed to abolish the title of Mughal emperor after the death of Bahadur Shah II. Economic causes.
Pause it. Now we have not done economic causes. Am I correct?
Yes.
So I am going to explain in full detail. You have a visual presentation also. Listen carefully.
The economic policy of the British adversely affected every section of the Indian society. The British exploited the economic resources of India to their advantage and drained her wealth by crippling the Indian trade and industry. Under the British, India turned into a colonial economy to serve the British.
Yeah, look here. They are saying British capital interest. How do you explain this line? Britishers need huge money in London. So where they are plundering the money from? India. So look at that. India turned into a colonial economy. Means very simple. Whatever money they collected from Indian economy will be taken to London. Not for Indians. Okay. Go ahead.
Capitalist interests. Heavy taxation, evictions,
Now this is for the Indians. Look at the trouble. Taxation, eviction of discriminatory tariff policy against Indian products. What are Indian products? The cotton. If I tell you a small handkerchief piece of a cloth bought by an English fellow in London, understood? Indian cloth, heavy penalty on him. Whereas their cloth is coming to India free of charge. Matlab, Indian import is free, but Indian export is double taxed. समझ में आया what is Indian export? मतलब even Britishers bringing their cloth in India, Indian cloth was very popular. Not only in India, all over the world. In fact, if I tell you the grave punishment they gave to the weavers, they cut their hands also. Because that much competition the Indian cloth had it with which cloth? British. So अभी मैं बोलूँ एक cloth का meter is 100 rupees and British cloth is selling the meter for 5 rupees. अभी local people generally कौन सा करेगा? 5 rupees ही खरीदेगा. But no one is Mahatma Gandhi. No, I will wear khadi only. तो पहनता है किधर? आधा ही तो पहनता है. Sorry to. Are you understanding? So since people were poor, they afford the British cloth more. Abhi you are unable to sell your cloth cheaper in front of British. Why? Raw materials are costly. British government had double taxed the cotton. And the weaving machine, milta hi nahi hai. Milega to bhi so many problems. Matlab, every step they are putting hurdle. Hurdle for Indians and smoothing for British policy. Play it now.
Discriminatory tariff policy against Indian products and destruction of traditional handicrafts, that is, peasants, artisans, and small zamindars. These grievances left the Indian people dissatisfied with the British, eventually turned out to be a bitter enemies of the British. Social and religious causes. The attempt to bring about social reforms in India by the British was not liked by the general public. The social legislations of the Agals as.
Did I not explain Sati? Yes, sir. Infanticide, we missed it. What is infanticide, anybody? That is
after it is
feticide that you are saying.
after it is born. After it is born.
Generally, even today, some community does it without the consent of the government. Sorry to say, it is the doctors themselves do it. And Maharashtra was the first state. Can you tell me what it was? Sex determination test. Majority of the couples, even today, before the child is born, they take a, what is that they call it? Whatever. Scanning, na? Something jo bhi hai. And if they come to know that the child in the mother's womb is a girl child, they do the abortion, which is very, very punishable offense. But paise ke liye doctor bhi karta hai and couples bhi karke lete. But that's wrong. Already India has an unequal sex ratio. If I tell you, it is 934 females per 1,000 males. Only Kerala, sorry to say, वो truth है. अभी बार-बार बोलने का नहीं कि South Kerala has in fact 1,019 females per 1,000 males. Bihar has the lowest. They say close to 736, which is very poor. अभी आप बोलेगे इससे हमको क्या लेना देना सर? The problems to the females, already we are patriarchal society. You understand patriarchal, male dominant. On the top, if the numbers of the girl child becomes lower and lower, it is a trouble. Trouble in what sense? If I show to the world that we are most democratic, we are secular, सामने से country पूछेगा, sir आपका country में ये females लोग इतना कम क्यों है? वो भी बहुत sweetly पूछे. What the answer we will have it in front, है ना? Indirectly it is saying that your country is the same country which I have left in 1947. सिर्फ आप 4 सिटी को डेवलप क्या कर लिया, ग्लोरियस इंडिया, है ना, कुछ कुछ तो हम बोलते रहते हैं, मार्वेलस इंडिया, बट रियलिटी में क्या हो? So that is what they are asking. Then remarriage of widows, that also I have told you. The lady has to shave the head inside 4 walls. अगर मेरा घर में अभी 6 रूम है, वो बेचारी लेडी एक ही रूम में जब तक उसका डेथ नहीं होता उधर ही रहने का. She should not come out. That's the practice. No color. अभी बैंगल्स या कुछ जिन्होंने बोला, बैंगल्स तो दूर, कुछ भी कलरफुल नहीं रहने. Like a आत्मा only, soul. But that was a life which nobody wanted. That was widow remarriage and were considered as interference. How will you explain the word interference in your language in exam? ये भी मैंने बोला था explanation में.
They have always such a system.
So, although it was good today, but in those days the religious orthodox people understood that Britishers are interfering. अभी आप इतना दूर क्यों जा रहा है? The present government banned that 3 talaq system, correct? Now also certain orthodox, इसको नहीं बोला, generally बोल रहा हूँ. She might be knowing what is that, correct है ना? Some ladies, what is that? Is it? Tell me. Hijab वाला, हाँ वो भी अभी लाया. If I tell you the reality, that girl who was chanting slogan in Karnataka in one school, they said it is one of the leaders from PFI. You know what is PFI body? Popular Front of India. And very quickly the government says that Popular Front of India is having serious malpractices activity, especially in some parts of Kerala. All over India karta hai. Money comes from abroad. And that girl who has been given 5 lakhs, अभी तो 5 lakhs उस बच्चे का पढ़ाई के लिए दे, we accepted. But 5 lakhs देके बोला very good बेटा, ऐसे जोर जोर से हाथ लेकर चिल्लाओ और बच्चे को भी स्कूल में जाने मत. I mean, that is a personal matter. I am not going to discuss. But अभी का government को भी people बोलते हैं कि you are interfering, 3 talaq system. Because religious practice, I feel, is a very personal affair. Government should be away from that. जितना government interfere करेगा, उतना problem create होने ही वाला. Correct? So that was did by whom? The British, and they paid the penalty for it. Play it now.
Sati, infanticide, remarriage of widows, etc. were considered as interference in the religious matters of Indians, about which the Englishmen knew nothing. The introduction of English education, the propagation of the work of the
Look at that, English education. Why English was considered that time trouble to Indians? Because Indians were into that Vedic and Rig Vedic type. You understand? Vedic literature. And if I ask you how many types of Vedas we had, 4. Everyone. Tell me any Rig Veda. वो हमारा syllabus में नहीं. Even if the syllabus is there, I also personally don't know. When I do some little bit of meditation and other kind of religious work में ज़रा ज़्यादा involved रहता हूँ. But मुझे Vedas नहीं आता. थोड़ा बहुत my dad has asked me to chant. Why? Because it is not a customary practice. But I can tell the English language थोड़ा बहुत जो मुझे knowledge blah 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 करेगा. But if I go to British Parliament and speak some Vedic language, I will be the first person laughed by all my British friends. क्यों? क्या Vedic बोलते हैं मुझे खुद नहीं आता. But through that English language, they try to bring Christian missionaries. अभी सोचा हम लोग Christian missionary को allow करते हैं. ठीक है सर आप आइए इधर सब कुछ कीजिए. But Rigveda style में stay. बोलेगा sorry मैं allow नहीं करता. I don't understand what I'm saying. When foreigner is coming, I'm asking him to take his own language. The one group of company came to India, one group went to China also. Did I say this? First of all, Chinese king did not entertain the English company. So with great difficulty, they allowed him to meet. So whoever was the Chinese king, I don't know. But one practice was very common. He said, you bow your forehead in front of me, my legs, 3 times. Do you think British fellow karega? And that to the Chinese fellow. So लोग ने बोला sorry sir, get out of my China. I think Indians को भी शायद ऐसा कुछ करना चाहिए. At least you will be happy. British का syllabus नहीं है, only English. Correct that? But what we Indians did, Atiti Deva Bhava. But what that Atiti did, वो पूरा history books में लिखा हुआ है. Correct? Let's play now.
Christian missionaries and the changing of the Hindu law of property with a view to facilitate the conversion of Hindus to Christianity along with many Orthodox Indians. Military causes. The Indian soldiers were considered inferior and were ill-treated by high officers. The high ranks in the army were exclusively reserved for the Englishmen, and the Indians were deliberately excluded from the responsibility. The immediate cause of the revolt was the introduction of the new Enfield rifle and the greased cartridge. In loading the rifle, the sepoy, before inserting the cartridge, had to bite off its top. It was believed that the grease was made out of fats of cows and pigs. This was objectionable to the Hindus and Muslims alike. This rumor sparked a fire of discontent against the British in the form of revolt. The first sign of unrest appeared in 1857 at Barakpur in Bengal.
Did I say Barakpur? He's saying Barakpur.
29th March 1857 killed senior officers on parade and started the revolt.
If you want the date, this is the date. I have told you 29th of March, he killed a senior officer, and that I have already given. 29th March 1857. But I might have given you Barakpur. Barakpur diya hai na? I only add the date there. I don't use the writing ability. I should not be. Hamara to gaya time. Right?
Yes, yes.
You take the control and just step it. And you will keep it with you.
Course and spread of the revolt. The revolt spread to Berhampur in Bengal. On 24th April 1857, about 90 men of the native cavalry station at Meerut refused to accept it.
Look at these are the incidents. At Meerut, how many people did not want to use that? Somebody in history class, not here, Kargar told me, sir, it was a rumor. If it could have been rumor, why did these Indians did it? Chalo, if Britishers said it is a rumor, correct? We are not using that rifle. Then why don't you provide evidence in front of the Indians? Are you understanding? Some historians have written it was a rumor. ऐसा कोई grease cartridge लाया ही नहीं British ने. अगर नहीं लाया होता, British government खुद explanation देता. Sorry, don't worry. This is the rifle, this is the cartridge, and you know, British ने कुछ भी नहीं बोला. So might be some truth is there, correct? But Britishers very politely said it was a rumor, and you people just believed it.
The greased cartridges. 85 of them were dismissed and sentenced to 10 years imprisonment. On 10th May, the revolt started at Meerut and missionaries after.
You can write that exact date in that immediate course only. 10th May at Meerut. 10th May 1857 is it? That's for sure.
So what example is
No, it is for your information. If you want to write, if not, leave it. Correct? Unless and until the authenticity of the information is correct. आप Google में भी check करेगा यही date मिलेगा. Slave.
Killing some of their officials marched towards Delhi. On 12th May, Delhi was seized and Bahadur Shah too was proclaimed the Emperor of India. The real command was in the hands of Bab Khan, who had led the revolt at Bareilly and brought the troops to Delhi. In Kanpur, the revolt was led by Nana Sahib, who declared himself the Peshwa and governor of Bahadur Shah. Tantia Top did most of the fighting. Rebels defeated General Bidam outside Kanpur. In Lucknow, the revolt was led by Hazrat Mahmud.
Even there was a lady administrator in India. Maybe. So in every part of India, one leaders fighting. And every leaders did not have any coordination also. They attacked the British government at different dates. It could have been coordinated and it could have been on one day. If not one day, at least continuous. Abhi ye group jayega, first month they will attack. After 2 months, one more group will attack. After 5 months, one more group will attack. So it became easy for Britishers to suppress them. And one day at one go. Are you understanding? Then we could have achieved the independence then and there only.
On the bearing of Award. She had proclaimed her innocent British Katiras, the Nawab of Award, against the wishes of the British. Henry Lawrence, the British resident, was killed in Lucknow. Jhansi. After some initial vacillations, Rani Lakshmibai assumed the leadership of the mutiny. After being defeated at Jhansi, she captured Gwalior with the help of Tantia Top and Auxum dogs. By rail. Khan Bahadur Khan proclaimed himself as the Nawab and led the revolt there. The other centers of the revolt were Banaras, Allahabad, Gwalior, and Nazirabad in Rajputana, Indore, Aligarh, and Kota.
And if you want, you can make a note. Banaras, Allahabad, Gwalior, Nasirabad hai kya now? Indore is there, Aligarh is also there, and Kota. Kota in Rajasthan, correct?
Yes, sir.
These are the main centers of revolt in India. Okay, we will not continue, let it be there only. You can relax for next 5 minutes. I will continue the same video after the break. My time hai. That's why I asked you to relax what it is. When I use the response, maybe students के साथ comments. You want to play this video or let it be after the lecture? Achha, those people who want to write, please continue. And our eyes are full. When is the test planned? 15.
Sir, Sunday.
Coming Sunday. What is the posting at this stage? Only. Shall I ask them to put this chapter also? All the school work they do, but they have to be YouTuber.
You can know even in That will be okay.
In exam, are they going to remove this? All the questions are there. Tomorrow timetable. Bicep. Please, outside the class also, at least in our premises, don't do. Good. I like it. I'm going. Hey, you know what?
Sir, I am.
In between the lectures only start doing. Good. I'm using the universal pattern, nothing else. Universal pattern, UT kind. Otherwise, बोलना आगे पीछे जा रहा है. You will crush me hard and then I'm going to use
already crushed him.
नहीं वो मुझे crush करेगा
बैठा है तो कोई जबरदस्ती
बच्चों के लिए कोई वॉलंटियर करता है in London 2 of my friends 4-year-old girl did COVID-1 and COVID-2 not a single day holiday 4-year-old girl and without mask they were forced to go to school उधर का बोरिस जॉनसन ने उसका वीडियो किया इधर गवर्नमेंट फ्रीडम नहीं हो तो भी पैरेंट्स ऑफ द रियल पब्लिक Okay, I'll leave you for the break. We'll meet by 12:45 sharp. Okay, thank you. ये पेन में दे रहा हूँ.
Just in case you get tempted and
हमें तो पता ही नहीं था कोई नहीं है